and I read every message generally like later, but if I'm like involved in the conversation currently, unless it's either addressed to me or it's just a general thing, don't read. Because generally addressed messages want addressed responses, meaning that that's sub conversation.
That's fair.
It's a speed thing.
Is everyone streaming right now?
I just
I
turned
currently
mine on.
Okay.
I literally just turned mine on. And my light. You can see my whack ass fro. I need to shave. Ugh.
as usual.
Male upkeep is such a boring concept.
If I had a ruler for shaving that was made specifically to be my face, I would love it. I should make that as a product. Fuck. Do you know how cool that would be as a product?
What?
A male shaving ruler?
There's
Nail
Like
shaving ruler?
yeah, like it molds to your face and gives you the exact lines to cut. Well, not necessarily mold, but like you know those bendy rulers that you could like fold in half.
Yeah.
Just make one, but it automatically has like the shapes already for like certain cuts, and then all you do is you put it across your face, bend it, and then just shave to the line, and then you cut the exact cut you want every single time.
He's talking about a hair stencil.
Yeah.
This contraption I've never heard of before. What is that?
They're not very common anymore.
It has come to my understanding that something that isn't common should now become more common again.
Agreed, but there's not really a market for it anymore now that a lot of people, well, a lot of barbers are learning to cut stencilized haircuts, and they teach that in, they actually teach that in stylist school. So,
Okay.
it is what it is.
It is what it is, baby boy. It is what it is.
Let me turn down this music because it's probably overpowering my voice. Well, you guys are coming through desktop, so if anybody's on my stream and they can't hear you, I might have to make some adjustments. What's wrong with the birthday party? You literally bailed a birthday party just to hang out with us?
Oh shoot.
That's fair. Also, thank you.
I was telling Blood earlier. It's gonna be like a very short hog, because again I'm still jet lagged and I'm struggling to stay awake.
By the time you've heard my normal voice for an hour, you're going to want to shoot yourself in the foot. Don't worry.
That's not true.
Or just let me creep you out enough.
Okay. Thank you for that, Smeagol. We really appreciate that.
Oh, also, Blood, you're gonna like this. I have to take my friend's twin out to dinner now.
Your friend's what?
Twin.
Quit.
Sister.
Okay, so what's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing inherently wrong with that. It's more, I've realized it's very weird because what's funny is, and I've never realized this before, imagine dating twins, right?
Okay.
If you say you're attracted to one, then you are technically attracted to the other. Though in principle you shouldn't be attracted to one, like the other. It's almost like, not necessarily almost like physically possible not to be, but like, you know what I mean? Like if they're identical twins, you're basically attracted to both of them. You know what I mean?
I do, but I'm not really seeing where this is going. Like,
The reason why I premised it like that is because I'm friends with one, as in like I am very close friends with one, and I'm like not relationship status, but like more that side with another one, you know.
You're
And
attracted
there's
to the other
no
twin.
connection. Minimally.
Well, you're not attracted to the other twin.
No, because we're friends.
Yeah.
So the theory doesn't pan out like it should do,
In
though
your
they're
theory.
identical. In my case, anyway, it doesn't pan out.
I
Why are
mean,
you saying this theory that it's in general?
It's meant to be a generalized theory that can be applied to a case-by-case basis, and it doesn't necessarily always apply, but is likely
Just
to.
because they're twins doesn't mean that if you're attracted to one twin, you have to be attracted to the other. It's all about also based on the personality too.
that is true. Like, I have twin
That kind
nieces.
of weighs in on a
Okay.
person's conscience.
Like,
Or bias.
twins run in my family. It's like every generation has a pair of twins in it. And the older ones have spouses and they know each other, and they're like, it's not like, oh, hey, let's trick our husbands or wives, and I'm gonna go home with your wife or husband, I'm gonna go home with your wife or husband to freak the other two out. They tried that at a family reunion, and both spouses were like, are you fucking out of your mind? Do you really 20 years and you don't think I don't know who the fuck you are? Get the fuck out of my car. It's not that simple. It's more of it, like shit like that will work if you're like 5 years old. But you're not 5 years old, so there's no real reason for anybody to assume that just because you like the one twin, you're automatically going to be attracted to the other one. That's not how that works. If that makes sense.
This makes much sense. But this is why it was a theory.
I mean, it makes for good quote unquote content. Like, there's a whole genre of movies underscore. But
What movie are you watching?
I'm talking about porn, guys. I'm talking about porn. I was trying to be PC and it didn't work. I'm sorry. There's a whole genre
Those
of
aren't
porn.
movies. Those are entertainment content.
I said at the beginning.
You didn't say entertainment.
It was implied, sir. Anyway, there's a whole category for that, and it only works in that space. But in real life, stuff like that doesn't happen. That's not how attraction works. Like, even TikTok has a whole thing where you're like, oh, hey, babe, smack, and then you go in another room, and oh, there's your significant other. Oh, you didn't know my twin was here? Like, that's the gag. But it doesn't happen, is what I'm trying to say.
Interesting. See, this is interesting. This is interesting news. Because my entire experience with identical twins, at least,
Mm-hmm.
has been very few people are actually able to identify them.
Mm-hmm.
So, every time I'm in a situation where there are identical twins, it means that, what's it called? It means that, say, for instance, we had two called Tara and Sinead, and me, my brother, sister, a couple of their friends, their parents, and that was about it. Everyone else couldn't tell the difference between the two of them for a good 2 or 3 years, and then they started looking slightly differently because they started wearing their hair differently, clothes, whatever. other than that, behaved, sounded like sometimes on the off chance you get it wrong, but like most people got it wrong, other than like the 10 of us who like could very clearly tell the difference between them. Which is why I was like, what would actually happen if you decided to fuck twins?
Okay. Good luck, I guess. I don't, because
I'm not trying to fuck the other twin. It was coming up because fucking I was going to start complaining about how stupid it is to find a decent restaurant. Like, I don't understand why restaurant
What?
culture is a thing.
Okay, how did we get on the subject of twins if the main problem was about restaurants?
Oh,
Because the twin bit was the preface bit.
what do you mean that's the purpose? How does that connect to the restaurant?
It really had. Okay, I feel like there's like an entire novel, not even a backstory. There's an entire novel
No,
that there
you
is
just
missing
fire
here.
From point A to point immediate to Z, and I'm like, where was the context?
And why is the problem with the twin? Oh, the problem's not with the twin. Then what the fuck is the twin? Why do we care about the twin?
And then, I'm complaining about restaurants now. Like, wait, huh?
Like, the main problem is he doesn't know where to take this woman, and he started off with the fact that she's a twin.
Child, I prefaced this conversation with the twin fact and the fact that I have to take one twin to a restaurant.
Okay.
I said
You
that
didn't
right at the
say
beginning.
that.
No, he did not.
No, you
You
didn't.
said nothing of. No, you didn't. You said nothing about a restaurant other than the fact that I have to take a twin out on a date,
Exactly.
and you went immediately into. You went immediately into the fact that it was weird being attracted to the twin. Straight into I don't know what restaurant,
Other twin.
and then from there we
That was the
went.
whole thing. The restaurant bit was just like a minor detail.
But it turns out that's the actual problem, right? That is the actual problem. You're literally serving us dinner.
Gonna be annoyed at me.
You're literally serving us a 3-course meal, but you gave us the soda first, made us wait 3 hours, and then you decided to bring out the fucking entree when in reality, we hadn't even placed our order yet because we don't even know what the fuck is on the menu.
That
Oh,
is
I'm so glad that's on
before we
Twitch
even
right
ordered.
What the fuck, man?
You're recording.
I love you, man. I really do. I love you, but your stories are terrible.
If I think beforehand, my stories are great.
Oh my god.
My stories with Seven were great. Which, by the way, I've now blocked because like some shady shit happened.
Oh, finally the adult starts coming out.
No. I blocked her after like, what's it called? After some shit happened, right? Basically, blocked. Like, she's one of the only 2 people on the planet I've ever blocked.
Okay.
And so, shit happened, and then she tried to talk to me privately, and then faked like getting a taxi when like everyone else was leaving to walk somewhere, just so they'd be me and her waiting outside my building. And then she demanded that she wasn't gonna leave, so I walked. I went on like a 30-minute walk. She was still outside, so I went inside and then faked that I was going to the elevator. She stood there and started saying something, so I went back to the front door, waved at the camera, and then like ran up the stairs, just so that if anyone comes and complains about me, I'm just like, check the camera. I didn't do jack shit. I waved. There's evidence of me running away. Bitch ass fuck, don't come and pin shit on me.
Okay.
I got nothing. I got nothing for you, bro. I got nothing for you.
That's because I didn't tell you the shady shit that happened. I just told you this shit just satisfies me because I make good life decisions.
So we're supposed to be talking about strong female characters.
Yes, let's do that. She's
well.
already brain dead.
Oh my god.
You did this.
So I think one decently strong female character is the one from Mortal Engines. Can't remember her name, but I remember that she has like a giant fucking scar across her face.
Well, what
Okay.
makes her a strong female character besides,
Well, well, hold on. What game is she from? Let's.
He's from a book, not technically a game, but like
Okay, what
it's
book
a
is she
book,
from?
and I'm pretty sure they made a game. It's literally called Mortal Engines.
Oh, is she the main character in that?
oh, it's
Yeah.
it's a movie now, isn't it?
Yeah, they made a movie of it as well.
Ooh, 6.1 out of 10 in IMDb. Ooh. 26 in Rotten Tomato.
Personally, I enjoyed it. It was a nice film. It wasn't very big budget, but definitely a nice film. There were some characters I think failed, but if we're talking strong female characters, I think this one definitely had good moments. Especially because like her main aim was just to kill a guy right at the beginning of it.
Okay.
Like
They should do it.
yeah, I'm pretty sure right at the beginning of the film she actually stabbed the guy.
Oh.
Which is let me just check this. Stabs guy.
Weird.
Yeah.
So, I guess my question in this particular, for this particular character, other than let me parse my words because I don't want it to sound like I'm fixing the shit on your character because I haven't read the book.
I'm going to predefine the character as being strong in willpower,
Okay.
not necessarily physically strong, but of like a strongly willed based character.
Okay. So, what separates your character, this character from Immortal Engines? Again, I haven't read this book, but why would you consider her strong, quote unquote, in comparison to, we'll say, her male lead? Why do you feel that she's a strong female character in comparison to her male lead?
Because at least the good guy male lead was more of a second guessing type character. And I personally feel that like on a personal level, I personally feel that similar to me, she acts on her instincts to fix a problem. Right, so say for instance, I don't know, something blows up. You go find out what's blown up. Like, what's the solution? Who can help you? Cool, let me go find that person. Rather than going, oh, this is gonna happen if I try and do this. This is gonna, like, I know what I can do. Let me try and do what I can do. And if it fucks up, I'll try another route then. And I kind of think that's kind of why it's a strong will rather than just like a physically strong character. Because it's not that, for lack of a better example, Princess Peach type situation where it's like Princess Peach isn't weak. Actually, no. Let me even go one better. Amy from Sonic, right? Amy isn't weak because she has the hammer. Like she's always.
Thank you for joining, Pavel. Thanks for bringing your viewer for the raid, man.
She's always been a decent character strength-wise, but the difference between Amy and I'd say the Mortal Engines character is that Amy, and like if she loses, it's like, oh Sonic, come help me. This character moves on. Like she'll move on to the next situation, and if she needs to ask for help, she'll ask for help. But like it's not the oh I can't do this anymore, break down, cry, like stops, life's gonna end, burn, like thing that we tend to see.
Hang on a sec. Pavel, you said I'm quiet, or are you talking about Munchie and Ghost? So I just need to move closer to my mic. Which one of us is quiet? Ghost.
Is this better now that I moved the mic closer to me?
Survey says. And I'm gonna boost. Speak again.
Hello, good sir.
Is that better? Ghost, keep speaking.
Guten Tag, ich bin Arvin, wie geht's? Bonjour, madame.
Okay.
Loco estás?
He says you guys are clear, and he asks how you guys are doing.
I'm alive, baby. I'm alive.
I am jet lagged. I'm tired. I am so tired. Uh-huh.
So, you were talking about Amy Rose, Ghost? Because I'm fixing to destroy Amy Rose real quick when you're done.
Amy
Oh.
Rose, the girl? I'm pretty sure. I can't remember whether her name's Amy Rose.
The
I
girl
thought
from
her
Sonic.
name
The
was-
pink one, right?
She has a
Oh.
last name?
Yeah.
Yeah, Amy-
Rose is her last name.
Oh.
Yeah, I said Amy Rose is not a strong female character, and Hester Shaw, which is the female lead in Mortal Kombat, is a strong female lead. So
Okay.
please go ahead, destroy Amy Rose.
Okay. So, Amy Rose is both a good, a strong, an example of a strong female character, depending on which universe she's in.
That's right, they got different universe.
So, if
Get
we're
that.
talking about the video game universe, well, if we're talking about
She's-
the primary video game universe, the one that we're in right now, where Sonic's all 3D and he does speed boosts.
Oh yeah.
Amy Rose is terrible. She's a terrible example of a female character. Just period.
But in because in the comics, she's in the comics, right?
Oh, in the comics, she's rad as fuck.
I've
She-
never read the comics.
don't
Also,
read, don't read the newer
TV
ones.
shows?
Hmm?
Are the TV shows based on the comics?
The Saturday morning cartoon, the the second one, not the first one. The second one where
Sonic
they were-
Underground one.
No, that's the third one. There
Okay,
have been three of them in the
There's-
90s.
Too many shows for me to keep up with Sonic universe. I'm just like, forget it.
Okay, so let me let me break something down real quick. TLDR: Sonic the Hedgehog has one universe where he actively fights with a group called the Freedom Fighters. That's the one that Amy Rose from the comics is from, because that's what the comics are based off of. Everything
Okay.
else is completely irrelevant.
All right.
Okay.
So, picking up there, Amy Rose from that universe, which is where the comics are also based off of. In fact, they pick up where the last episode of that TV show leaves off. That Amy Rose is awesome. She's not on Sally Acorn's level, but she is fucking amazing. She's strong, she's witty, she can keep up with Sonic, she's just not as fast. She's almost as strong as Knuckles, and you see her progression go from being the damsel in distress to being like, Sonic, I don't fucking need you this time. You got other stuff to do. Go take care of that. I'm gonna handle this right here. She does not take shit from anybody. She almost stole Sonic from Sally Acorn a few times, and it was awesome to watch. But but Amy Rose from the video game universe, regardless of what video game it is, Amy is insufferable. She's only after Sonic. She's only chasing after Sonic. She puts herself in so many situations where she shouldn't be, all just to get some Sonic tail. And it's fucking annoying to see that. Because she can do so much more. The Sonic, I think it's called, which the most recent one that an American studio made, where they had like all the zip lines and shit. That Amy Rose, she's super close to being as awesome as the Sonic comic version, but even in that one, she's super insufferable because she treats everybody else like she knows everything. Like the smartest guy.
The video I just sent you, because I think that's the one you're talking about.
No, because you can't really say that about Sakura, because Sakura, everybody says she's useless. Sakura, half of the shit that Naruto and the rest of that entire village got into, if Sakura was not involved in some of those fights, everybody in the show that we love, even the ones that we hate, and a whole lot of the ones that we make fun of, all of those people would be dead without Sakura. At least Sakura contributes. Amy Rose contributes nothing to anything that she's involved in that one universe. And even in the Sonic cartoon show that's out now, she's just terrible. She's just a terrible, terrible character. If she had better writing, she would probably be alright. Now,
Okay.
that's my retort on both for and against Amy Rose, but it just depends on what universe Amy Rose is actually in. What about you, Munchie?
What?
What about you for your strong
Oh,
female character?
alright, my bad. I'm out of it.
You tripping?
Well, I recently watched Arcane.
Okay, you got a lot. You got a lot of women there.
Yeah, I got a lot of women there. And I think, I don't know, there's a lot of women that I, like, very much, like, all interested in, because they're such compelling characters. There's, like, Mel, the female counselor, the counselor.
She's hot, though. I'm not gonna lie, she's good.
Jesus Christ.
No,
There's
okay.
Fly. There's also Jinx, and then there's Caitlyn. There's
You
so
are
many
going to
female
have to
characters.
explain these
Like,
characters to me, because I know none of them.
Okay, so for us to
watch
sit here and
the show.
explain, yeah, you would really have to watch the show in order for us to break down each one. You would really,
Because there's all these female characters are in my definition a very strong character in different ways.
Hey Blue, actually, if you want to jump in, you know where we at.
Hello, Blue. Hello.
So who's the strongest character?
There's no strong guess. Everyone in these characters are in their own definition strong. They're also, what I also like about these characters is that they actually have flaws to them. And I'm just like, yes, finally a female character that's not all Mary Sue, or like all always have this like golden shine about them, like they have to be perfect, they need to know how to like fight. And I'm just like, no, not every female character needs to shine like brightest. They can, like, Arcane does not hesitate to for the lack of better term, put these like people down, like into the dirt and grime.
I will say that one thing that Arcane is very good at is defining what a hero is. and a lot of I'll use Joseph Campbell. A hero is a person that does the right thing even when no one's looking.
Well, the interesting thing about Arcane is the fact that there are no real heroes, and there are no real villains in the
Right.
story.
Every
They're all morally gray.
like even we'll go with what was the councilwoman's name?
Mel.
Mel. Even behind closed doors, like you can see, you have this entire arc making her out to be like, oh, she's a princess, she's a porcelain doll, and then you see some of the shit she does behind the scenes, like when she brings the paladin
Jace.
guy Jace into the council and gets him on the council, and the first thing she does is say, this is how crooked all of these people are. This guy has a shipping lane that you now are in charge of making sure stuff goes through or not go through. The best way to get on his side is to make sure that the guards look the other way so that his illegal shipments come through. He works with this other guy sitting next to him. The best way to get him on your side is to make sure that any other trade issues with the first guy go through, and whatever illegal trades that he brings in go through. But in addition to that, make sure that he gets a tax cut or a tax
Yeah,
break.
it's basically
It's
very
good.
intricate. She knows how to play the tune.
And the one thing I will say is against her, which kind of diminished her strength to me, is when we met her mother. And the first thing her mother does is go after Jace's body after just having Mel, the councilwoman, had just slept with him.
She didn't go after Jace's body.
That was the portrayal that I got. I may have misread that. I will totally and
Mm,
openly
I didn't
admit
see it
that.
like that.
But the first
No,
thing,
she was very. I would say I know. I think I know what scene you're talking about.
where she's
And
standing bucket ass naked in front of him,
yeah,
trying to tell
it's
him,
not
you
the
need to
fact
do
that she's
this.
trying to seduce him. It's the fact that she just, she has so much power and like confidence in herself that she's like, I'm naked, so what are you gonna do about it?
Well, okay, I will give that because
Just
that's
because just because of someone is naked doesn't mean, oh, I'm trying to seduce this person.
well that and I was just about to say that the characters in my own work. That's how a few of the women from a specific area. That's how they interact with their male counterparts. I'm naked, you're naked. What? It's not a big deal. So when I was watching uh, Arcane and I saw that occur, it seemed to me like she was trying to. It I took it as she was trying to seduce him because she had just made a comment about seeing the quote unquote sights, when in reality she was basically going to play with her sugar baby. And
Yeah.
then when he walks into the room for that specific scene that I'm talking about, the sugar baby is there. And it seemed like he had just finished servicing her and she was kind of bored. So
No.
that's how I read the scene. And again, I may have totally misread the scene, but that's how I took it.
I mean, I saw it personally differently, but again, I feel like Ghost is extremely lost right now. But all I have to say is that if it is a good watch,
It is. It's really good.
it has good story, good characters, good pacing. Surprisingly, even though it only has 9 episodes, and fucking amazing animation. They blend in.
This is an animation?
Yes.
They blend
Wait,
in 3D
what's the
animation
show?
and 2D
It's called
animation.
Arcane.
Arcane.
A League of Legends.
It's on
story.
Netflix.
It literally looks like the concept art.
And the thing
Wait
is, the
a
best part
second,
is,
this the one that I keep seeing that they've just done the new music for? The fucking
Like
Imagine
Imagine Dragons
Yep.
did the theme song
Yep.
for it.
Okay, this is on my list of shit to watch. I
Yeah,
just don't
yeah.
have Netflix, so
You don't need to. Okay. See, we keep
Don't
having this
worry.
discussion. I
Don't
have
worry.
access to a friend's Plex account, and it's on there. I will talk to him, and I will see if we can get you on it, dude.
My boy. Plex isn't allowed in my country, one.
Really?
And
Oh.
no, it's not really.
Why?
Two, there are other methods to watch things.
Okay.
I mean, I could always screen share.
Uh,
Netflix doesn't like that.
eh. I've got Plex. I can screen share. Not the point. Pavel, you are absolutely correct. She is the definition of bipolar, but I think her whole thing is she's a product of her environment. She's I really think she's more of a Harlequin, and by the end of whatever this is, she'll either go full Joker, which I would actually like, or she'll maintain the Harlequin persona, and she'll just find a way to deal with her damage.
I don't personally see Jinx as just bipolar. I think she has a lot of trauma that she needs to deal with, and the fact that Silco decides to just enable her with all of her misdeeds, and I'm just like, oh no,
Okay,
he's so toxic for her.
I'm gonna step off the beaten path for a second. When we started seeing her older, and they were having like when we first see her sitting on his desk, and I'm gonna go out on a limb here for like 6 episodes. I thought he was fucking her. I swear
Oh
to God.
no, there's a lot of people were like
I
very troubled the fact that, oh no, is he screwing her? Like,
I thought he was fucking her, and I was like, oh my God, that's gross. That's so gross. Like, I am not against an older man being with a younger woman. I'm a product of that. But, like, for the vast majority of their appearances together, I was like, oh my God, there is no way he's not screwing her.
she's only like 15 or 16 at the time of the show.
And that's the other thing.
no.
I was like, that's a really weird way to make him more just likable. But at the same time, like, are we seriously gonna go down that road? Because
But
if
thankfully,
we
no.
are, like, I have so many questions. But they put Cuties on, Netflix, and didn't take it down. So I'm like,
I don't know what Cuties
I
is.
I
don't really
understand
wanna-
why they didn't take Cuties down, and I kind of agree, kind of disagree, but like, I understand why they didn't take that down.
Munchie, it's
For context, Munchie, Cuties is basically a dance show, but it's based around the fact that we let little girls go to dance shows, and there's a somewhat sexual nature towards dance shows. But Cuties is basically a little girl,
Oh,
as in, like, I think she's 10 at the beginning of the film, starts doing these dance shows, and she's like an international kid, so she doesn't really understand the entire context to it. Shit happens. Shit happens.
Let's be a little bit more
Shows.
clear about the dance. She's part of a twerk team.
see, I don't like that. I don't.
That's
You
Why
don't
do
like that,
parents
and I
allow
kind
this
of
to
want,
happen? I'm just so confused.
because
That's-
sometimes it's the girls that want to do it, not the parents. And sometimes you have to realize it's not that the parents are doing it because they want to do it. It's the parents doing it because they are letting their child experience the world. They're just trying to guide the child in such a way that they don't have such a bad
But they also
experience.
need,
They
it
can't
was
function.
also the parents' job to, to guide them.
so.
But they're not. They're
and-
allowing this to happen.
You're absolutely correct. Netflix did sexualize it from the original cover art, and that's the problem that I had, because as soon as I saw that, I was like, hard nope. Hard.
Have either of you ever watched Dance Moms before?
I have,
No.
and that's the other reason why I didn't watch it, because I was like, I'm not into glorifying that shit, because there are sick people out there. I'm gonna just say that. I'm gonna be nice.
Munchie?
Yeah.
There's some sick people out
Munchie,
there.
do a quick search of what Dance Moms is, right?
No.
it's nothing
it's
bad.
not it's not bad. It's the way that
It's
these children
literally
are
the
treated.
positive. It's almost the positive version of cuties in like a long-winded TV show sense. But basically, you see what actually happens in this one dance studio, Abby Me Lilith, ugh, Abby Lee's dance studio. What happens in her studio? Who comes? Who goes? People become famous because they dance for like famous people. Basically, in the daily life of dancers who do this, right? Some of the girls on there think they have a young team that starts at like the age of 5, but most of those are more ballet based dances. But that's only in like the later seasons that they've made that because the company was bigger. Beforehand, most people were what, 14, 15 up,
Hmm.
and then they started letting younger sisters join. After younger sisters joined, they made a youngest team as well to just expand it so they weren't fighting as much. Like Abby Lee Miller's, it wasn't good, but it clearly had, I'd like to say it had some good reasoning towards some of the decisions that were made on that TV show. Also, Abby went to jail for a long time because of tax evasion.
As you do.
Okay.
Anyway, getting back to the strong female characters in Arcane.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you had to choose just one, because we got way off topic, way off topic on that. Which of our leading ladies would you have chosen, and why do you feel that they represent um, strong female characters?
There's too many to pick, though. That's the problem. That's like they're all good characters.
Okay, which one did you vibe with the most?
Mm. I guess in a sense, I vibed with Jinx the most because I loved her story.
Okay, so let's focus in on Jinx. Aside from her trauma, because we want to put out character traits that make her a strong female character. What makes her a strong female character?
I guess besides her intellect,
Okay.
despite how crazy she comes off of, she's honestly a very smart girl.
Mm-hmm.
She like deduced from Jace's notes in a couple days, weeks,
Okay.
and built her own like contraption to, work the what's it called again? The orb?
The mana gems or
Yeah, the gems.
okay.
Her intellects, and then in her own way she's trying to like overcome her trauma, but obviously that didn't really work out. I'm just like, damn.
Okay. But I would argue, and I'm gonna challenge you on this one, and it's mostly because I think I know where you're going, but I wanna pull more out of that, more out of you to kind of support what you're saying. If we're basing that purely off of her intellect, we didn't see a growth from her intellect whatsoever. And the mark of a strong character is we see them at one point in their development and we see them grow and change. When we're introduced to Powder, later on Jinx, we are introduced to a little girl who knows the ins and outs and inner workings of machines. And even beyond that, we're shown pretty early on that she has a tenacity to figure things out. Before the time skip, she was trying to figure out how to get a specific grenade to work. And by the end of that first arc, she uses that very same tenacity and she gets the grenade to work, and it works too well. We also later find out that she's responsible for the training simulator that Vi was using, and the target practice that she and the other kid were using. She built all of that. So we already knew that she was an inventor. And then even later on, they're like, yeah, she built all this stuff. She didn't grow. She didn't change. So her figuring out, or taking 2 days to figure out how to make a damn near atomic bomb, that doesn't really just show her growth. Doesn't really make her a strong female character. If anything, it makes her a Mary Sue. We didn't see how she got that technological prowess. We didn't see her pick up any tools really throughout the course of the show. We just told she knows how to do this, and then we just see her do it. So what makes her a stronger female character than, say, Vi or Mel or the former police sheriff?
The what?
Huh?
The what?
The sheriff, the one that dies like literally
Oh,
before.
Grayson.
Yeah.
Hmm. Well, I'm thinking.
Oh, take your time. Is I think you're right, but I want to see if you hit the same nail. Because if we were really to look at Jinx as a character, I would say basing it off of her intellect might not be the direction to go, because that's just a character trait. I would venture to guess that she is more of a survivor than Vi, like an absolutely a better survivor than Vi. Because Vi went to jail and sat in a cell for what was it, like a 5-year time skip, if I remember correctly.
I think so.
And so Vi sat in jail punching a wall for 5 years. Meanwhile, Jinx is out there like running gangs.
Well, she's not technically running gangs. She's more of
If anything, she's an enforcer.
an enforcer to Silco. And I wouldn't say she is in a sense a survivor, but she was still dependent on Silco. So I wouldn't really call that, because I think so besides her intellect, I think the reason why I liked her as, despite even though it was not a good choice, she still decided to become who she thought she was going to be, because from the start of arc, what was it? Or the second arc, through all the way to the third arc, Vi has been trying to get back Powder. And I get that why she's trying to do that. But at the same time, Powder has been gone for a very long time. And she's still thinking that she can get Powder back. But no, Jinx is part of Powder that Vi needs to accept, but Vi doesn't, and now Jinx is now going back and forth to Powder for Jinx. And ultimately, at the end of the episode, she decides to become who she is. even though it's not a healthy choice, but it's still in her sense, her, if that makes sense.
Let me
And
put.
I,
Excuse me, I didn't mean to cut you off there. Good.
no, I just think that's like she's going basically going against the grains, and that's something that not a lot of people would do or you see.
So, would you say that the thing that makes her stronger is her rebellious, I would say, rebellious streak?
I wouldn't call it rebel. I wouldn't call it a rebellious streak. Don't really know the actual, the name of it. So I guess you can call it that.
Okay, that's fair.
Because there's something else to her character. I just don't have the name of it yet.
How would you describe it?
Again, I don't know the name of it. That's why I'm having struggling
No, no, no.
trying to describe.
Okay, okay. Um, so I'm trying to find a word for it myself. Um, so you believe her strength comes from her nonconformity.
Yes. And it's also the fact that she's just a complex character in a nutshell. And I'm just like, there's no real, how should I put it, definition of Jinx, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I would say I think nonconformity would probably be the best
Yeah.
word to use there. Um, simply because her her character growth honestly comes from um, the the conformity that everybody else in the show actually
Is
displays.
forcing her.
No, not even like let's
Well,
take
they're
the,
forcing it upon her.
the
Because, like, Vi wants Powder Bag, but then Silco wants, like, Jinx. But the thing is, she's both. She's both Powder and Jinx. They can't have one without the other.
fair, but I would say that it's more of the events around her, and what I mean by that is we're introduced to I would say five main characters that go on to be in the video game. So we're introduced to the professor, and he's been in charge of the entire, uh, I would say, society of Piltover and the Underground since it's been created. Okay, and he is literally the icon of a conformist society. It's his way or the highway, flat out, until they kick him out. And then we're introduced to Jace. He is the first one to rebel against the professor by creating Magitech, or we'll call it Magitech. That's a Final Fantasy term, but still, he creates Magitech and Hextech. Thank you. He creates Hextech, and then they put it to good use, and that Hextech is then conformed, and it doesn't evolve for a year. And Jace tries so very hard to make it so that people can use it, but the military wants this sort of weaponized tech. And instead of Jace saying, we'll use it for one thing, he ends up making weapons. He ends up conforming to what the military needs. So much so he replaces the professor as the icon of conformity. And then he starts ruling. And then we have Vi living in the underground. And instead of Vi doing right by Jinx and trying to understand what happened in the situation that led to their split, she decides that she's just going to go off on her own. She gets thrown into jail, and then she ends up working with the very people that jailed her, conforming. Then we have, who was the next one? Silco.
Oh, Silco.
We have Silco. And so Silco had been killed by his best friend, quote unquote. And then he ends up killing his best friend instead of working with them because they had a common goal. And then a time skip happens, which leads us into the show itself. And in order to maintain a balance, he conforms just so that he can keep his businesses going. And he expects everybody to conform to him, which he succeeds in. So much so that he starts buying off the police. Then he goes through a process of trying to figure out a way to usurp the authority over him. By doing that, he ends up with some hex tech of his own, but he's also got this underground layer where he's creating monsters. And he's using those monsters as weapons. Those weapons, at some point, including Jinx in that, those weapons eventually turn on him. And the conformity that he has instilled falls, and the entire system that he's created starts conforming to what Jace and everybody else has going on until he tries to broker peace, but nobody knows that's happening. So more conformity into what's already happening. So we have all of these people conforming to this line. We get to Jace, not Jace, but we have Mel. Mel is helping Jace conform and again, keeping the system in play. And then we have Caitlin, I think that's her name?
Yes.
Caitlin. So we have Caitlin, who's already in the system, and by the time we meet her later on, she is a officer of that conforming system, and she's trying to break out just enough so that she can bring other people in, just so that she can deliver justice in an already unjust system to a group of people who are trying so very hard to not only be a part of the system, but maybe benefit a little better from it. And then we have Jinx, who's way off on the other side of the fence looking at all of this and saying, you guys are ants. I squash ants. I'm going to start squashing you because this doesn't make sense to me. So she's seeing all of these characters, and we're seeing all of these characters, and the only one that's really doing anything different is Jinx. Out of all of these characters that are lined up, Jinx is the only one that's standing atop a hill and saying, I don't like this. You people are just easy targets for me. And by the end of the show, we get that scene, and we see that glass cracking, and it honestly, it would have had to have been her to crack that glass, because the next thing that happens is chaos. And I think that she's the only one that could have brought that. I think that is a much better example of what makes her strong than the intellect thing. So you and I are in total agreement. I think her nonconformity is what makes her the strongest character, if not the best character in the entire show. Sorry, I went on a rant there, but
Absolutely fine, bro.
you really need to watch it, though. I really advocate for you pirating it if you have to. I'm not advocating piracy, but you really need to watch it if you have to. If you don't have any other option, you definitely need to watch it.
I'm actually trying to change up my routine physically, so I probably will start watching more TV to actually get me into like a set routine of doing shit and then stopping after an episode is done. But yes.
Excuse me. So I need to come
Sorry.
up with a good female character.
If you say Harley Quinn, I will kill you.
No, because I actually think she's a weak character.
I think she was designed to be a weak character.
All of her character growth makes her stronger, but I think she's a weak character, just flat out. Same thing with Wonder Woman. I think Wonder Woman is a weak character, and I think Black Canary are weak characters as well. I really just am not fans of them. But when I think of a strong female character, a lot of people are not very fond of her right now, but I'm gonna say Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn is a very good example of a
No idea. I never played that game.
Really?
No.
I would recommend it if you like playing Cowboys and Indians. It's probably the worst analogy I can give because you're playing as the Indians. But it's really good. There's
Native Americans?
yes. I should probably start using that term a little bit, but being a descendant of a tribe, I kind of give myself a little leeway on that one. But I would say Aloy is probably the best example I can give recently, simply because we in terms of like seeing her character growth, we meet her when she's a child. We watch her trained in as part of the like literal tutorial that they give you that explains how things work in the game. You get to learn some of the stuff as she learns it. And when she interacts with a lot of the characters in the game, depending on how you choose to respond, her answers are either going to be based off of one of three factors: aggression, empathy, and caring. And they separate empathy and caring into two separate categories, simply because a lot of the situations she finds herself in, there are clear indications that she kind of likes this person as a human, as opposed to she's empathetic to the situation that they're in, and that's how those two are divided up. Even though caring and empathy seem to be definitionally the same. But most of her interactions are based off the way people treat her, and she responds accordingly. And you're allowed to make those choices as you go through the game. There are 3 situations that you will encounter when you play it where you literally don't have any control over how she responds. She just either responds super positive or super negative. And for some reason, the people around her, depending on whether or not they are written to be an enemy or written to be an ally, they will respond to her actions as godlike or demonic. But when the story calls for it, or when the story requires you to make these choices, her responses are natural and they do evolve over the course of the game. There's one character throughout the course of the entire game that treats her with just what I would consider absolute respect and treats her as an equal. And she doesn't realize that this dude is treating her as an equal, and she gets super snarky with him at one point, and then she starts pulling that back after she starts to discover more about what her issue is and how it interacts with that one character's issue. And then the two of them finally see eye to eye, and she understands he's been treating her as an equal the entire time, and she's been treating him like shit, and she apologizes for it, which to me shows character growth. But her skill and prowess are based solely on your ability to play, and I think that by itself is enough to make her a strong character. She does have problems, but a lot of them stem from just video game writing.
Okay. I never played the game, so I don't know what to base it off of.
Well, I could choose another one. but
I
that's
think-
the first one I can come to mind with.
Oh,
If I'm going to say a word on Aloy, I'm going to say my problem with her strength-wise is they kind of make it out that she's forever a child, especially since, like, obviously she's not actually that old. I'm pretty sure what the selection is around anywhere between 15 to 18.
No, she would be. I want to say she's around your age,
At 20, so like,
because the game starts.
when the game starts, she's like 10.
Yeah, and then there's a 10-year time skip.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay, so yeah, she is around 20 then.
But I do agree with you with her being forever childlike, but I think that plays into not only the society that she's born into, which is a story beat, but it also plays into I'm sorry, Munchie, but I'm gonna have to spoil like one tiny thing. I think that plays into the fact that the world's knowledge was destroyed. So the only thing she knows is the same thing that everybody around her knows, which isn't a lot.
This is true.
But when it comes down to how she overcomes that knowledge or lack thereof, I think that she does a pretty good job of it. Like, the one thing I will say that makes her a Mary Sue, and it's only in this one regard, when you start the game, you get this thing called a focus, which is your UI for the entire game. And it gives you so much information. It tells you when you're hunting, it gives you the movements of these animals, these robotic animals that you're hunting. It gives you their movements, their weaknesses, their stats, the whole 9 yards. It gives you so much information about these animals that when she's interacting with the other tribes, it makes her godlike. And instead of her and I say this understanding that if I were her, I wouldn't give this information to anybody other than a few close people. But instead of her giving this little piece of knowledge to others so that they can maybe survive a little longer, she keeps it for herself. And in doing so, it makes her literally the most OP person in the entire world. Except for the
They
villains.
solved that bug. I'm pretty sure they solved that with the fact that what's his face? Well, at least they solved it on like a physical, um, on like a physical, like, let's gloss over this fact, in the sense that I can't remember the name of the guy who's meant to bring her up.
Rost.
Yeah, in the sense that Ross goes to take it off her to get rid of it because it just adds to the fact she's an outcast already. So technically, she doesn't even work for, live with, like, she shouldn't interact with the tribe at all. The only reason is Ross interacts with her, and like people refuse not to interact with Ross. Like, if it was anyone else who'd rescued Aloy, the planet would have been screwed. I honestly think the planet would have been utterly screwed. Slash, Hades would have been able to do whatever he wanted.
Well,
if
and
Eddie or Ross rescued her.
but see, that brings up another mark against her because societally, which that's another story. That's another actual story beat. She doesn't resolve that particular issue because logically speaking, by the time the game ends, she's running the tribe, literally running her tribe. Um, she literally tells like the leaders of her tribe, like, you guys, look, here's the thing, you guys are killing these people by doing this to them. You guys need to fuck off. We need every man, woman, and child to pick up a bow and arrow because otherwise we're all gonna die. Like, she should have dismantled that system. And I don't. In the next game is like supposed to take place 6 months after the first, so even with that in place, if the Nora, which is her tribe, if the Nora doesn't get rid of the outcast system, then it would literally be Aloy's fault at that point because there is no excuse for a system. Like, when you're first introduced to this system that molds and shapes her, not only outlook, but outlook on people as a whole, but on herself, like, it's detrimental. Like, you think Jinx has some mental issues going on? Like, you travel this entire world in this game as Aloy, hating people. Like, there's no other way to say it. She hates people because of what her tribe did to her. And when she ends up meeting other people who are just like, hey man, how you doing? She doesn't know how to act. Like, the whole interaction between her and Silas is completely evident of that. And just for context, Munchie, Silas is the dude that kind of helps you finish the game, but he's also the one person in the game that actually treats you like an equal. Like, everybody else treats you like a god. So the one character that treats her as a human being is the one person she treats like shit for 90% of the game, and it's because she's not getting what she wants from him, but he's giving her everything she needs to get her not only from point A to point B, but in a certain few key situations, keep her alive. And it's because she's treated, because of the way she was treated as a child. Going back to your point, she's childlike all the way through the game. If nothing else, she's a spoiled child throughout the course of the entire game. But she does overcome that.
Okay. I mean, I don't really know the context of it, so.
Fair enough. We did the same thing to Ghost a few minutes ago, so we're all due for one, at least one.
What time is it?
Do you know who else I will say is strong for at least part of their series.
Who?
I'm going with Hermione Granger.
Yeah, I'd give her a full stamp. I finally got around to watching all of the movies. Still haven't read the books. I'm sorry. Don't at me. I know they're different. But
I'm not gonna kill you for it. It's not that special if you haven't.
But I will agree. Hermione is if anything, I'd say she's probably the best example. We see her character growth. We see where she starts and where she ends.
And to be fair, she starts strong as well. Like, she starts as almost a know-it-all who's, like, pretty good at magic in comparison to even people who've grown up with magic. But hers, like, it's very clear hers comes from studying in comparison to where everyone else comes from just being used to, like, seeing it around them every day.
You know what I think would have made her better?
What?
If she was dyslexic.
No. Because then the struggle becomes a whole thing about what's it called? It becomes a whole thing about how it's more
The
than
struggle will be
just
something different
yeah,
instead of just being an outcast as a
as a muggle.
muggle in a society of wizards.
But
Just
mu-
putting an entirely different
if
problem on Hermione that's not really necessary.
okay, so if I may, and you
And
just
you
said
may.
something. You just said something that kind of didn't make sense. A muggle's a person who can't use magic, right?
Yes.
So Hermione Granger, and again, this may be something contextually written out of the movies in exchange for the books, but Hermione Granger can use magic, which doesn't make her a muggle. So I'm not understanding where.
She is a muggle because she was born by muggle
She's
parents.
perceived as a muggle rather than she's perceived as a wizard. So initially, when Hermione comes into the school,
Mhm.
a lot of Crabbe and Doyle's bullying, especially, and Malfoy's bullying for her in particular, is the fact that her parents aren't. So, in other words, she is what? It's like being
Like a lowborn.
albino. There you go.
A what?
Greatest example. And being albino,
Oh.
everyone around you was born black. Your brothers were born black, but you are born white.
Mhm.
Like, there's no reason for the difference other than genetics. And genetics doesn't make who you are as a whole person, but it's a very clear difference, historically speaking, that, oh, this person is albino because his two parents are like this. Whereas in the wizarding world, it's like, oh, wizards have kids, they're going to be wizards. Muggles have kids, they're going to be muggles. You're a freak of nature because you break the standard laws.
Okay, so if I'm understanding,
Go ahead.
she was born. She is a wizardess, or do they call her
Witch.
She's a
witch.
witch.
They call them
Okay.
witches.
Okay, that part also not in the movie. It was a little weird when they called somebody a witch. I was like, what's the difference here? I don't understand. Anyway, not the point. So she is a witch born to two Muggle parents.
Yes.
Okay. I have a follow up then. How would her dyslexia, like if she had dyslexia, how would that change
Because it wouldn't
the
be
ability?
necessary.
So now it goes from her being, oh, she studied hard to get to where she is, to being, she studied hard to get to where she is. She also struggles a lot with studying. So most kids her age would have hated studying, but she did it anyway to get out of bullying. It kind of over convolutes the point that's already there, rather than enhancing the
So
point.
basically, being dyslexic, I'm not saying that dyslexic is. I'm not knocking it off. It's just the fact that in the story plot and as a character for Hermione, it's not really necessary for that character to be dyslexic.
Have
And
you guys?
Well,
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
I don't mean to cut you off. Hold your point there, because the reason. So, just so I'm going to put it in different context here. So, Hermione's issue goes from being for Hermione's issue in the story is racism, for lack of better wording.
Essentially.
Her
Essentially.
issue is racism.
Yeah.
Okay.
She gets the racism subtext.
Okay. So her primary issue is Malfoy and all those kids are racist.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
And actually, it's not even just kids. It's
It's
wizards
like the society
in general.
itself.
okay, so
Right.
the society
But
that
it's
she's
just because
now
it's so rare that it doesn't like. It'd be like if you were the first black kid to go to Harvard.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh at that. But yes, okay, I understand. Black kid going to Harvard. The issues is there's no quote unquote she's invading somebody else's underlining space. But
Mm-hmm.
when I'm saying let me kind of recontextualize what I mean by dyslexia here, because I still think it would fit. And
Go ahead.
the reason I'm saying dyslexia would be a small underlying issue, something that she can kind of overcome, which would add, more fuel to the racism part. And we could call it something else, just technically, but spitballing here. And instead of saying, "Oh, she's dyslexic," in addition to, she can't read the magic, and it would just come off as dyslexia because she doesn't have because she is a witch born to Muggle parents. They don't have access to the books. They don't have access to how to translate the books for her to learn this information. So it would come off as dyslexia as opposed to she's just studious. Like, she wants to learn it. She wants to absorb this knowledge, but she can't read the text, which is why she beat the school in the first place.
So now you've created another problem.
What would that
Harry.
problem be?
Harry is essentially a Muggle. But he wasn't born of Muggle parents, but he was raised without knowing the existence of witches or wizards.
Okay, but that was done to protect him. That's a whole different
No, it
thing.
wasn't. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Him not knowing about witches and wizards was not to protect him. That was his aunt and uncle's choice because his aunt hated his mother. This is what you learn in the books that you don't learn in the movie. His aunt hated his mother. That's why in Prisoner of Azkaban and Prisoner of Azkaban's the second one. It's why his mum is rude about, and inherently they do it every single time he's there. At some point or another, his mum or dad or the fact that they are dead gets brought up, and Harry gets highly upset about it. That is why at one point Harry literally almost blew up one of his relatives.
Well, in the movie they bring that up. Like, she brings that up. She's like, and the reason that they gave there is because she wanted to be a witch herself, but she didn't get the powers. She wasn't born with those powers. Her sister was, and that's why she hates Harry.
That was because her parents favored Lily more because she was the perfect child. She was the golden child.
I'd have to go back and
So
rewatch it, but I think it had something to do
when
with
Lily got her witch
That's
power,
one you'd
her
have
witch,
to read. Mm-hmm.
they just put her more up on the pedestal, and then Petunia, I think that was her name, like, got more pushed to the sidelines after that.
Yes, I would say that is probably what happened. Like, overall, I'm not going to lie. The real struggle of Harry, like, if we go back to the initial thing where you said she needs to learn the language because she wasn't taught the language. Harry has to learn the language. So Harry would be in the exact same situation, which convolutes Harry's story, because Harry's entire story is he's meant to be a hero, but he's not. Like overall, if you actually read into, like, this is what you kind of don't get from the film that you only really get in the book. There is a very clear subtext if you've like read it a couple times. Harry is just normal like everyone else. He's just got a freaking scar on his head,
Yeah,
so
it
like
wasn't.
he happens to go on adventures.
Well, that's the trope of an everyman. Like he's
Well, the
supposed to
thing
be our
is,
eyes and ears in a situation. So he's learning this just as much as we are, which is why I think it. And again, I like it. I'm not downgrading anything that you guys are saying. I'm just saying it would have been an awesome idea if this was done, but most of what he learns from the teachers, and saying, I guess my question would be if Hermione had no idea how to read some of this stuff, but she knew a few spells here and there because she studied it and learned about it, I don't think it would necessarily hurt. In fact, I don't genuinely think
where
it
would
would
she
hurt.
have learned to study it if she had never known about it?
Okay, so the same could be
It's the
said of
thing.
her
It's the
being,
same thing as like with Harry. It's like what Ghost is saying.
well, that's
Harry didn't know anything about any of the magic stuff. They're Hermione and Harry are in the same boat
okay. So
when it comes to learning
I would,
spells.
with that being said, I would have to ask a question. Going back to Hermione and her origins, a witch born to two Muggle parents. Where did she get the books to do the
Okay,
studying?
so this is where things get interesting, right? So as far as we really get told, same thing that kind of happens to Harry happens to Hermione.
Like there was a guide, wasn't there?
Yes. So Harry got Hagrid because Hagrid was a family friend.
Yeah.
That's why, and technically he also got Hagrid because if someone decided to physically try and fuck with Hagrid, they're fucked. He's half giant. But
Yeah.
also Dumbledore knew that Hagrid could do magic. Dumbledore like was privy to that idea and concept, and he didn't mind that, but he knew that legally speaking, it was against the rules if Hagrid did magic. But in the worst case, he knew Hagrid could like whip out a spell or two if he needed to.
Okay, so that takes care of Harry,
Mhm.
but
Sa-
Hermione.
same thing happens to Hermione, and I think it's Professor McGonagall that goes to her, but I am not sure. I'm not
Was
sure
it
if
said
it's
in the
said.
books? Because I never read the books either.
Because
I've read all the books multiple times,
but see
and
that's
I could not tell you off memory.
see, but that's where I'm. That's kind of where my idea is coming from. Assuming that everything plays out the exact same, and whoever her guide was gave her these books. She's like, oh, here's some stuff to get you started, and she doesn't know how to read it, and it comes across to the guide. Okay, well maybe she's dyslexic. Maybe if I get her into this school, maybe that'll give her what she needs.
No, but that's the whole point of the guide is like they're slowly teaching her what the wizarding world is. That's basically what Harry and Hagrid was going through.
Okay, so how would her being dyslexic in that situation undermine Harry's growth? That's I guess that's what my question
But
is
why
here.
are you so bent on
No,
trying to make
because
Hermione
I'm not okay.
dyslexic? That's
No,
what I
no,
want
no.
to know.
Because okay, here's why. Okay, because the problem just even from a movie standpoint, the way that Hermione is written is not completely normal of a kid her age. There are people out there that are just absolutely smart, super smart, knows all this stuff. But the thing about Hermione has been all the way across the films, at the very least, is that she seeks knowledge, and there is clearly no barrier to her ability
Well,
to
yeah. First
digest
of
that
all, she
knowledge.
grew up as a muggle, and now you're being introduced to a wizarding world. Are you trying to tell me you wouldn't study
Okay,
everything?
But
okay. Let me throw something
hold on,
out. Let
hold
me
on.
throw something out.
Before
Let,
you do
let me
that, let
throw
me answer
something
the
out
question.
really quickly.
Let me answer the
Go
question
ahead.
first.
Go ahead.
In the case, if it were you and I, you were Harry in that situation, and I'm coming into, like, you are kept away from it because people in your life are shitty, and I'm kept away from it because I don't know what the fuck it is I'm reading, and the guy or gal who's teaching me this is.
Nobody was teaching her anything. That's what I'm saying.
But okay, but do you see where my problem is with her just suddenly? Because if we're going about it and we're looking at her objectively, Hermione's a Mary Sue because she walks into a situation with her counterpart who knows nothing about this world, who doesn't fully understand what this world is about, right? He's coming into it and he's seeing all these people, just even from the train station. He's coming into this train station where people are walking through walls, and this giant man is like, "Hey, Harry, you're super rich. You're a wizard. I don't know what the fuck a wizard is, but that seems cool. Let's go do this thing." And then you see people walking through walls and doing magic and stuff, and then you run into this girl who knows everything, and you're like, "Where did you learn that?" "Oh, I learned it from this book." "Okay, well, I got this book now. What do I do with it?"
Blood.
Like,
There are two simple answers to that actual question,
right.
right? And the two simple ways to answer it is this. I just read this, and in the second book, it's clarified that a representative is sent to the family to explain to the family what the person is. So, in that case, not only was Hermione told, both her parents were told about the situation, and both her parents were taken to Diagon Alley with her to get the books and necessary supplies, meaning that there was a level of not only parental consent, but possibly also parental encouragement.
Okay.
That's the first answer. The second answer is this. Harry and Hermione are two objectively different characters because they don't have the same baseline. Harry has dead parents, and he's found out that part of the reason his parents were dead is because of, well, it's an inferred thing that the part of the reason his parents are dead is because they were magical. They
Well,
were
there was
witch and
also a
wizard.
prophecy.
But he had to learn. That was what he learned. Whereas for Hermione, she learned about a whole new society. It's like if you give two kids see iPads, right? One kid sees someone drawing on it. One kid sees someone making phone calls and using a calculator. They're still seeing the same product, but
Yeah.
they're seeing two different use cases. The kid who draws is probably going to be far more interested in it than the kid who sees it being used as only like a calculator. Unless both of, like, assuming it's identical kids, and if the kid is into maths, I think that is the only time, maths or science, that is the only time that kid would be hyper interested in the phone. Other than that, it is unlikely that that kid who sees it being only used as like a calculator will be as interested in understanding the, let me call it, finer details about how the phone works, how, like, oh, there's a touch element to it, how certain things are pronounced, or what this part of it's called and how it does this. Whereas the kid who sees it drawing might go, oh, that's like a pencil, but it's not a pencil. So how does it work like a pencil? Like, how does the screen element work that you can do that? Like, oh, what's that does that? Like, can you explain more of that?
But that's the part
So
that
you
I'm
have to.
That's the part
Yeah.
where I'm saying her dyslexia is not actual dyslexia. She just doesn't know how to read the book. It just seems a little weird to me that in this particular context, she would get this notification and her family would get the same notification, and then somebody shows up and says, "Hey, you you can do magic now," and she would be like, "Okay, cool, that sounds awesome," and the parents would be like, "Okay, so she can do hat tricks? No, 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 no. She can cast spells to make people float. She can walk through water, make a broom fly," and the parents would be like, "Get the fuck out of my house." And then then the demonstration part would come in, and then they would be like, "Oh, so my daughter can do this shit now? Well, it explains why there's weird rainstorms in her room when she's sad. Okay, yeah, let's get on board with this." And then they go down to the alley, hand her a book, and she just automatically knows how to read it. I'm not saying that it would be, again, I'm not saying give this girl dyslexia where she's crossing up letters and casting one spell and when she should be casting another spell. I'm saying her studying these magical spells should be something far more earned. I'm not saying to neuter this girl. I want to make that part very clear. In fact, I think it would have made her stronger. It would have made her a much stronger wizard than Harry if given her own little side thing. And we get to explore that. I'm saying we should
Also,
have gotten to see her grow much more because she has to work harder than Harry. Harry is born into this situation.
Well, the thing is, here's the thing. Hermione is not the main character.
I understand
also,
that. I'm not
also,
saying that.
So why are
also,
we seeing her struggle
Herm-
more in a story about Harry Potter?
Because,
Hermione is the second born Muggle that we're introduced to. She's not the first.
okay,
The first is Harry's mother. So you'd also have to give an element of that dyslexia to Harry. So we don't get rid of that problem either.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying exactly that. She. Do you guys know what a 5-man band is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Explain it for the people watching.
Okay. Well, a 5-man band is a party of 5. Each member of the 5-man band has a specific role that services the hero of the band. There's usually a tank, and this is even in RPGs. There's usually a tank, there's a healer, there's a thief, and then there is a rogue, and then there is
Rogue.
Ranger,
a
rogue,
ranger,
same
rogue,
thing.
whatever. And then there is a hybrid unit. A hybrid unit services the character when like the hero is gone, the hybrid unit steps in to take the role of the hero until the hero returns and then he does support. But every member of the 5-man band has a specific role that services one party member, the hero. And our current, in the case of our Harry Potter, in the case of Harry Potter, we're given a 3-man band instead of a 5-man band, and in that quote unquote 3-man band, we have Harry, who's the leader. Okay, he's the hero. He's the guy that we're servicing, and then you have the rogue in Ron, and
Nope.
then hold on.
Keep going, keep going. Go with your explanation, but I will say nope when late so that I can later correct you.
Okay, you can correct all you want. You have the rogue in Ron, and then you have Hermione, who should be taking on the role of the healer, but she acts as the hybrid unit to the OP that is Harry. The problem
Why healer?
because she's the healer is basically the one with all of the knowledge. Basically, in a story that calls for it, if the hero doesn't know what to do, the healer is the one that steps up and comes up with the strategy that helps everybody move forward. That's her role. That's what she plays throughout the course of the story. When shit goes awry, even in the first book, what do? Well, I don't know this spell. but she knows it, and she tells him the words, and he casts the spell, and he saves the day. That's what Hermione does throughout the course of the 8 movies, and I'm assuming that's what she does in the books as well, based off of the way you guys are saying that. But when we're
I never read the books. I'm only basing off the movie.
fair enough. The only expert on the books on this particular panel is
Ghost.
Ghost. So when even when the story starts, though, the characters as a 5-man band, they go up against the boss, and then they fail, which is where their conflict is, and then they regroup, and it's the healer that says, hey, okay, so brute force attacking this thing isn't going to work. Maybe if we divide and conquer in this situation and then come back and brute force, maybe that will work. And that strategy carries them to the end of the book. In the case of the very first movie, again, that's the only thing that I've seen, she carries that movie. She carries that movie from start to finish. Watching it
Like,
a couple of
how?
times. When they first
I need like a refresher on the movies, because wasn't Harry's flying skills to grab the key?
So let me step in,
Okay.
because this is where things are gonna get interesting. The 5-character thing applies, but you assigned roles wrong.
Okay, so
Harry is the hero.
Of
That
course.
is a predefined.
Okay, that's what I said.
The healer in this case is actually, for a broader term, I'm going to say the teachers. And I'm going to say this because Dumbledore, in fact, actually holds that role, but other teachers get to sub in and out where applicable.
Okay.
Right?
Can we pause
Go-
right there? Just a second.
Go ahead.
Okay. The situation that allowed the story to progress, we would consider the
Which
teachers,
situation?
the Goblet of Fire. Weren't they trying to get the Goblet of Fire? I don't remember which one it was.
That's not the first movie,
No,
bro.
it's not the first movie.
That
I'm
is
aware that
definitely like the
it has been a
5th
while.
or 6th movie.
Okay. First of all,
Philosopher's Stone or the Sorcerer's
you.
Stone, whichever you want to call it.
thank you. The MacGuffin. That's what I'm going to call it. For them to get the MacGuffin, the teachers were not involved in the obtaining of the MacGuffin. So when we are talking about a 5-man band, NPCs, the teachers, are not involved. Anybody that has to teach our characters how to be heroes are not part of the 5-man band. So,
Guys,
yes?
I need to head to bed now. I'm
Okay.
really tired.
See you, Munchie.
Take care.
Alright.
Get some rest.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Good night.
It's okay.
Good night.
Good night.
Survive, child, survive.
Please and thank you. We need to be able to keep doing this.
I'm going to kill Blood while you're gone, don't worry.
Oh god.
Okay.
Alright, good luck. To the both of you.
Thank you.
Blood, you're
Bye.
gonna need that. Bye.
Okay.
A
A 5-man band
but-
is specifically limited to the characters that affect the outcome of a story, not the people who teach. The teachers would be the wise old person, and that
And
person.
this is
Hold on.
why-
Hold on.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
The wise old person leaves the situation either halfway through or at the very beginning of the story. Obi-Wan Kenobi. What's his... Not Mace Windu. I almost said Mace Windu. Obi-Wan Kenobi
Jesus
in A New
Christ.
Hope. Obi-Wan in A New Hope. Okay.
Mhm.
Qui-Gon Jinn in the very, very first quote-unquote episode of Star Wars. Any old surly traveler, those are not part of the 5-man band. You never considered them to be part of the 5-man band. So when I gave Ron his rogue status and I gave Hermione the healer status, it's based off of whoever affects the outcome of the MacGuffin. Okay, so we can't put the teachers in there because they were not there when the MacGuffin was obtained and the situation regarding the entirety of the first novel or the first book was resolved. Same thing with Star Wars. When the Death Star blew up, the only thing that Obi-Wan had to do with that entirety of that situation is say, use the Force, Luke. Okay, slam dunk, those things went in and the Death Star exploded. But when you go back and you look at the 5-man band of Star Wars, it is Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, it is Leia Morgana, Chewbacca.
Leia Skywalker.
At that particular time, she was Leia Morgana, but we'll go with Leia Skywalker if it suits you, sir. But Leia Skywalker, Chewbacca, Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, C-3PO, and R2-D2. And those two are interchangeable. But that's the 5-man band. Obi-Wan Kenobi is not a part of the 5-man band. Dumbledore is not part of the 5-man band. The teachers of Hogwarts are not part of the 5-man band. If they were, they would be all the way through. You could get Sirius Snape. You could get Sirius Snape as a member of the 5-man band, and he would be high.
Dumbledore does more than Sirius does in the books. And see, this is why I'm giving you this extra context, and I need to ask you, how much have you watched?
I've watched all 8 movies. They come on at work every day. Yeah, they come on at work every day. I don't have a choice but to watch.
I feel sorry for you that they come up at work.
Why? It's super terrible. We have this channel called USA, and there's another one called TNT, and they play them on repeat every single day. That makes sense. Fair enough. But anyway, right? The reason why Ron is not the rogue, Ron is the tank, because Ron has moments of quote unquote intelligence, like all tanks do, because tanks aren't inherently always stupid, but they're just really generally good at brute forcing things. Ron is the brute force. But everyone in Harry Potter is a hybrid character, because Ron, also using the analogy, is Harry's healer. He actually gives Harry the main context of being a witch, wizard, everything. Like, every time Harry learns something new, the person who gives a proper explanation about it, Ron, not Hermione. Hermione is, at points, gives solutions, but the reason why Hermione is a main character isn't only because of the solutions. It's because we have 3 characters being introduced to the world that we're following. We're following someone who's normal, right? So Ron is our normal guy. He's us, essentially. So if an alien came down and was living with a boy who, I don't know, lived next door to you, right? And every day the boys played inside his house. You never saw him up until you guys all went to school. And the day you go to school, you get on the bus. There's an alien, there's a boy who knows the alien, and there's you. You experienced normal everyday school. Ron experiences the bullying, Ron experiences being good at school, Ron experiences being bad. He's a normal guy. Hermione is the kid who meets the alien. Hermione knows that there's something different, and she's learning about something differently, and she's obsessed with that difference that she's learning about, meaning that weird and quirky facts that normal kids would have glossed over, she picks up on and remembers. Like, she wants to be a teacher's pet because then it means she remembers spells that like most other people won't know about and won't learn, because these are all new interesting concepts to her. And then Harry's the alien in this case, because Harry himself knows nothing. So he needs someone to inform him, but he also needs someone to bridge the gap for him, who is Hermione.
because Hermione bridges that gap between Harry and Ron, where it's, oh, this is what muggles do. This is a muggle experiencing the world like me. So Harry never has to go through that, oh, I'm alone in experiencing a brand new world. Because Ron's always expected to go to Hogwarts. You hear Ron talk about his brothers going to Hogwarts. You hear Ron talking about his parents going to Hogwarts. You hear Ron talking about Harry's freaking parents going to Hogwarts. Hermione has none of that to go on. And what's even better is Hermione is smart book-wise, but her emotional coefficient is way off whack.
Okay, but
Harry, on the other hand, has a decent emotional coefficient and a decent intelligence book-wise, but he's nothing math. Ron is shit at books, but when it comes to dealing with the Muggle world and knowing Muggle tricks, Ron is the go-to guy. For instance, the invisibility cloak. Hermione would have been, and I think she was kinda, but not enough, all over that thing. Wanting to know how it worked, where the fuck it came from. Like, those are all tiny details she would have loved to study. But at the time, there was a more pressing issue, right? Ron, on the other hand, as soon as he, knew about that thing, if there was something that he thought it was good use for, Harry got that as a suggestion straight off the bat, did he not? And so, in essence, the 5-man band thing works, but it's also a little more complicated because going into the situation, people move in and out of them. For instance, Dumbledore in Half-Blood Prince, right? And for anyone who hasn't watched or read Half-Blood Prince, you're gonna get spoiled. You're gonna get spoiled listening to this conversation. Dumbledore in Half-Blood Prince basically goes on an adventure with Harry, meaning that Dumbledore in and of himself either has to be part of it or there is a different crew. Because Harry and Dumbledore are literally like father and son. And if Harry was to have another father, it would be Dumbledore. Harry's uncle would be Hagrid. Other than having what's his face, who's in Prisoner of Azkaban. Jesus, how am I forgetting his name? He's literally my second favorite character. But other than Harry's actual uncle, Hagrid is his uncle. Every time he goes to a problem that he can't go directly to Dumbledore for, who's he going to? His uncle.
Okay, let me kind of steer you back because that family aspect does not play into the 5-man band, and then the reason we even got on this topic, or at least part of the topic, is because I was saying we should give Hermione a personality quirk, something that she can overcome to explain why she studies so much. It's not, and it has to do with her place in the 5-man band. I get that. I get why you would put Ron as the healer, as even a hybrid unit, but specifically role-wise, why he would be the healer instead of being a rogue, because everything. And again, this, I'm not arguing. I'm just simply saying this would be kind of cool. I'm not trying to make a whole debate about it. I just thought it would be a cool idea. But giving Ron the rogue would still cover that because he's street smart and Hermione is book smart. That's the whole point of a rogue. Again, going back to Han Solo, that's literally what he is. He's a scoundrel. He knows street stuff. He gets everybody out of situations that involve street stuff. But when it comes down to the politics of everything, we go to Leia. We don't talk to Han Solo about politics. We talk to Princess Leia Organa or Princess Luke Skywalker because she's because from the onset of her character she's displayed an aptitude for that. In the case of Hermione, it gives her, to me, it gives her a starting point with the other two characters, and I think that's what she lacked, and I probably should have led with this to begin with. It doesn't seem like if we were watching Harry Potter today, and I'll be super upfront about this, if we were watching Harry Potter today, and it wasn't called Harry Potter, and we were just introduced to our three characters, there is no way in the world that the studio, or hell, J.K. Rowling's editors would let us follow Harry around. There's absolutely no way. Hermione
I don't
would
believe
be-
that.
I'm not as a person who's never read the books. I'm saying there's a whole lot that was left out.
Oh yeah.
But studio wise, if we were making a movie with no context, there is absolutely no way that we wouldn't have Hermione be the person that we would use to world build, flat out. More fans would come into it and be like, why are we not following Hermione? And there are fans out there today that even ask that question, like, why wasn't this following Hermione? She did more for the group. I mean, hell, Ron, at some point, I want to say in the last two movies, he just disappears for like 45 minutes to an hour, and while he is gone, it's just the Hermione and Harry show. And it's like,
I think there's a problem with that. And that problem in particular is JK and the the films, trying to write out a love triangle idea that everyone has. Because everyone, like, there is a good portion of people who are still on the Harry Hermione train, even after the entire complete ending of everything, right? And the thing is, they used Ron to be all end all that. Not only in the fourth movie, Goblet of Fire, where Ron gets jealous that Hermione goes with Crumb, but also in the sense that when Ron has to go through his trial is seeing Harry and Hermione, his two closest friends, going behind his back and fucking. Knowing full well that Harry knows he's into Hermione, and knowing full well that, to a level, Ron knows that Hermione is into Ron.
so
But
wait,
there's no actual official thing going.
hold on. I have so Ron sees Harry and Hermione getting intimate in the books.
No. He doesn't see them literally getting intimate. It's like in the film. Essentially, he has a. Let me see if I can find this clip.
Because in the
'Cause I
film,
remember.
he sees them dancing and he doesn't know what the context about it is. And he gets super upset about that. So I'm like, did they dial that down? And if they did, why was it in the books? Because that part's not making sense to me. And again, keep in mind, like even with the whole dyslexia thing, I'm like, I don't understand, but I think this would be a cooler idea. And
Here
I
you go.
clearly-
Found it. This is definitely a lot worse than just dancing, my guy. Check your messages.
Oh wow. Oh okay. Was that it? That wasn't in the movie.
That was in the movie, dog.
Oh, well, also, I'm watching it on cable, so clearly there's some stuff. Yeah, I'm not going to watch that. That's weird. FBI will be at my door. We're just going to pretend that never happened. And I'm kind of glad they cut that out, because I was like, I don't recall that at all. I recall the dancing part, and they made a big deal about the dancing part. That's weird.
Yeah, well, that's a lot more accurate as to what happened. So now you understand exactly why Ron disappeared for a long period of time.
I'm gonna have to find a copy of the actual movies then, because that, to me, there's so much stuff missing. I actually need to sit down and read the books. I have them. I just don't.
You know what? If you can't read the books and you can't be bothered to read the books, podcast it. There are 1,001 podcasts to read that book. You'll find someone's voice you'd like.
I would prefer to read it. I want to have character voices in my own head instead of people projecting their own voices and stuff like that.
Which is fair.
It's just something that I would prefer to do. Let's move on to a different topic real quick, because that we spent an hour on me trying to say, Hermione should have dyslexia because it would be cool. So just pick a different topic.
No problem with that.
Because I officially concede defeat on that part.
Now that you've seen that BS, yeah. Now that you've seen what can actually happen on the dark side of the moon of Harry Potter.
That's not as
That's
bad
not
as the
even
Sonic stuff.
No, my guy. You haven't seen the... Straight after I watched Harry Potter, as in the film, I went onto YouTube to try and see if I could find, like, extra deleted scenes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I found some very scarring version. Like, it's highly explicit. And at one point, Ginny uses a spell to disembody a specific part of Harry, and you use it on herself and owns it and keeps it in a box.
Is that book
How'd you
canon?
feel?
Is
No.
that- Okay.
Hell freaking no, bro.
Okay.
Hell freaking no. But like, to young-minded me who didn't understand that, like, this was, so what this was is, this is at the end of the books, there is a bit that shows you like 10 years after, where you see they all have like their own kids, and they're sending their own kids off to Hogwarts. Harry has like, I think Harry has 3 kids he sends, or 2 kids he sends. He definitely has at least one non-awkward kid and one highly awkward kid that he sends. But essentially, this was like a 5 years into the future before they had the kids. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So this is probably based on like some material that hasn't been published yet or something that someone's just decided to do some skits on. Started watching that, and I watched through, I think there are 5 episodes of it on YouTube, and I scarred myself for freaking life.
I wish I could say that I felt bad for you, but I kind of don't. It's mostly
You shouldn't.
It just that seems like you were just kind of, you got what you were looking for kind of situation.
No, I was not looking for that. I was looking for hardcore battling like wizards and witches and like whole new situations where it wasn't just family and like finding out your history and destroying like the old guy who's like still going on his revenge plot. Nah, I was looking for low-key Hogwarts wars, like brand new tournament arc between the young siblings, or like, oh, what happens when you're the son of the most powerful wizard on the planet who doesn't actually like take over the planet. Rather, he just becomes another normal human being, has kids, settles down, and joins normal life. Like, what the fuck happens? Do you have, like, your own magical ability? Does, like, parcel tongue still become a thing? Or is that got rid of? Because Harry can speak a language that, like, no one but him can speak now. You do realize this. Because only Harry and Dumbledore could speak it.
I mean, okay,
Now-
but that's not in anything that I have any knowledge of, so that's something in the
That's
books that I
in the first book. That is a very important plot point in the first book and first film.
Actually, they say that he talks to snakes. It doesn't say anything about him learning any other languages, bro.
Actually, first book, second book. It's not that he learns a second language, it's that he's born with the ability to understand and talk to snakes. But other people can't understand it, and you can't teach it. So as far as we are aware, Harry is the only one who can do it. Then we learn that Voldemort can do it too, which is why Voldemort has a pet snake. And Harry only gets that ability because technically Harry is a Horcrux of Dumbledore's, which is why at the end of the last film, major spoiler alert if you're an idiot and you've still been listening to me, Harry dies and lets him, well, essentially he's meant to get killed by Voldemort. And that's why when Harry goes back to life, he actually never died the first time because his Horcrux half got killed. So we don't know if Harry actually has Parseltongue, because the Parseltongue ability was from the Horcrux side. Like, this is all information that you would learn in a sequel, spin-off, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But, like, however-year-old me was looking for, because that's the kind of cool shit I wanted to know. And I still want to know.
I'm trying to load up this game, and it is not working. Alright, so we were doing a subject change.
Yes, I have about another half an hour or so before I have to go take a shower and go to that party.
Fair enough. So, what's the subject? What's the subject?
Building stupid websites that I hate and want to shoot myself over.
Okay, I guess.
That's not a depressing topic at all, Sans.
No, it isn't. I love it so much. Oh my God.
I thought you just loved me.
So much. Oh my God. That's all I got. Cannot get this damn thing to capture. That's the thing about some of this stuff. Like, it will not pick up this. I'm trying to load this game that I've been playing, and it does not want to do it. It doesn't want to do it. So I found. Have you ever played? And you may, or this may be before your time because the game came out in like 1992. But there's this game called Super Double Dragon.
Nope, never heard of it.
Oh my god, so awesome! Have you ever played a Double Dragon game ever?
Nope, never heard of it.
Really? It's like they're literally the kings of beat 'em ups. Like, they started the genre. So
The kings of beat 'em ups.
Yeah.
Street Fighter.
nope, that is a fighting game. It is not a beat 'em up. It is different.
Nope. Street Fighter wins everything.
No, and you're an idiot for saying that. Thank you. Try again. Anyway.
Street Fighter. Street Fighter. We're street fighting. Bum bum. We're street fighting.
Oh my god, you're
Street Fighter.
I don't
Street
understand what I'm
Fighter.
Okay, if you're gonna keep doing that, I'm literally gonna hit you. I'm literally.
Nah, I'm just being an ass. Sorry.
Yeah, please
Anyway.
stop doing that.
Go ahead.
Anyway, there is this game called Ultra Double Dragon or something like that. It's called Double Dragon Legends or something like that. It's a fan game. And I downloaded it, and it was fucking awesome. It's got like hyper combos and dope shit like that.
Nice.
Problem is, I have it open, and for some reason, it keeps closing every time I try to capture the window. So I'm trying to capture the display that it's on, and hopefully it will stay that way for a hot minute so that I can play it on stream. I'm gonna move my screen over. You get to see my wicked ass background from Mirashiro. Yay. Brandon wins. Anyway. It's based off of the Super Nintendo game called Super Double Dragon. And it was unfinished when it was released. Jeez, that is loud as fuck.
So is it one of those like first games that was unfinished when it was released, and like we should now blame all other games for being unfinished when it was released?
Actually, yes and no, but no and yes.
English child, do you speak it?
I do. Better than you do, apparently. Because what I said was, if you were listening, yes, but no, but no, but yes. They put it out in an unfinished state, but it was super awesome and people loved it. Oh my god, this music is terrible. They put it out in an unfinished state. It was also one of the last Double Dragon games put out by the company that created it. And it was... the primary reason they even put it out is fucking because the company was going under and they needed to, like, recoup some losses. Jesus Christ. This shit's at 50. Holy fuck. Hold on a sec, dude. Jesus Christ, that shit is... I didn't realize it was that loud.
It's like an arcade game.
Well, it's because it started out as one. And then they tried to put it to home console.
Ah, makes sense.
So, like, the original 3 games were arcade games, and this one went straight to the Super Nintendo. So, hopefully, and can hear in the background, like, that shit's peaking. And peaking hard. Anyway, it's a fan game that came out, and... it basically blends like all of the styles that were in the other games together, and you can use them in combos and shit. It's fucking awesome. That's even what I wanted. The sad thing about it is you have to figure out what the control setup is. And it took me a really long time to figure that shit out.
What do you mean you have to figure out what the control of the shit is?
Yeah, dude, it took me like 3 hours to figure out how to get my gamepad to work with it.
Found out there's like a skating place not too far from there.
So why don't you just...
Cool.
why don't go there instead of going to the party?
Because I can't be asked to travel that far and then travel back. See, I need a car, right? Because as a non-drinker, a car is perfect for me on a night out. Because it means that I can go, I can come back, and even if I get like pulled over or anything, I'm not going to be drinking. So I'm not going to get pulled up on that.
I will say this as a person looking in on the outside, your drinking laws in the UK are fucking weird.
What do you mean?
Like, you guys can drink from the age of 18.
Yeah.
And then...
Well, actually, no, we can technically drink from any age so long as we don't buy the alcohol.
Ah, that's good to know.
We're technically also not allowed to drink in public, but it's allowed to a reasonable extent.
Oh my god.
Your aim is terrible.
Yes, it is. That's why I said, oh my god.
Someone shoot me in the
Please don't do that. I already had one friend that shot himself in the hand.
Ow.
I don't. It was a dumb story. He was basically cleaning his gun and he didn't do a safety check on it. He didn't clear the mag. It was so funny, dude, because he told me about it. I went over to his house, my guy, and his hand's all wrapped up. I'm like, what the fuck happened? He's like, I shot myself. You see the bullet hole over there in the TV? I'm like, you shot yourself? Well, I almost shot my finger off, but, you know, it's better now. And I'm like, what the fuck, man?
I'm not going to lie, I would be like just as nonchalant about it as he sounds like he's being. But I would never, or at least I'd like to think I would never be stupid enough to actually end up doing it. You know?
I don't know. I found it incredibly hilarious.
No, I find it hilarious, but I still want to call him stupid.
Bow staff. Like, the whole thing with the bow staff, that is definitely new. Just seeing them hot dog with a bunch of stupid ass weapons, fucking hilarious. In the original version of the game, no, they couldn't do any of that.
All hot dogs had stupid ass weapons.
Well, yeah, pretty much.
God damn it, almost. Damn it. I'm building this website and it's slowly but surely getting better. You know when you like slowly get good at something, like you're not really trying to get good at it, but
Uh-huh.
the more you do it, the better you get.
Yeah, it's called 1,000 hours.
I feel like that's bragging about something. Should I be proud of you?
I mean, you should be proud of yourself for completing your 10,000 hours, but, you know.
10,000 hours on what? I don't have 10,000 hours on anything.
Well, that's the only way you're going to get better, is if you take your 10,000 hours. The question is... Oh, yeah, that wata and shit, all that, that's new. It was supposed to be in the original version of the game. The guy... This dude literally watched a bunch of reviews, or not reviews, interviews with the original creator, and he was talking about all this shit that he was gonna put in it. And I was like, this would have made the game so much better if it like had these dope ass sound effects.
You said that?
The original creator. Oh my god, really? Hold on. I'm getting my ass kicked here. Give me a second. That was dope. I didn't know I could do that. Anyway, this dude watched, or at least read all of these interviews with the guy who created the original version of the game, and he's talking about all the extra stuff he wanted to put in. So he was like, I'm gonna put all that shit in this game. And so he did, and it makes this game so much better. Like, that super combo that I just did, that was never in the game. And these dudes are supposed to be like offshoots of like fucking Bruce Lee. And there were no cutscenes, and the guy was like, I'm gonna add these cutscenes in. Anyway, I think what he did with the game was actually a lot of fun. Like, the game was fun to begin with, but now I'm like, this is awesome! This is way better!
Looks like a pretty fun, like, casual play game.
It is. That's what Double Dragon always has been. It's like, you just jump in.
I'm kind of looking for something else to play.
Ah!
Jump in, jump out.
Miss. Okay, this dude is getting way on my nerves right now. Let's see if he does the Bruce Lee foot moves. Like, that's a little detail that's like super awesome to see. Oh, that's how you do the Fei Long Fist. Neat! Yeesh. I will say that it's way too easy for for death to occur in this one.
Why?
Like, you see how quickly they're eating up my power bar?
Oh, is that top number?
Yeah.
What stops you from just running away?
That's a good question. I don't know. I'm the world's greatest badass, but I think I feel like leaving at this particular point.
Exactly. I just don't feel like being there, bro.
Today's my day off for being a hero.
Bro, you wanna come hit me? Cool. Yeah. I'm out of here.
I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Don't come looking for me. I'm gone. I don't want to see your ugly faces again. But like, yeah, like what actually stopped
Like that. That's ridiculous. I think they changed the level order of this too. Oh my god, just line up so I can punch your faces.
See, this is why I like to just sit and listen to you play video games. 'Cause I can say like dumb little quick lines and just make shit funny. Let's kill this motherfucker.
Look at this dude trying to stunt.
Dang, these niggas come with swords.
And Chinese stars.
Bro, I realized I went to a training session on Thursday for American football. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
just as I was leaving, I decided like to try a high kick, like you know where you just jump up and kick down. I tried that shit, and I was like, God damn almighty, I can like high kick pretty high. I'm talking like I'm 6 foot tall, and I'm pretty sure I can almost high kick my own height. But I can't do a vertical 6-foot jump, so
That's weird.
that's an interesting concept. It's like, to me, I think it's because the high kick is essentially floating kick.
Uh-huh.
So because of that, the little almost run up you get allows you to change that to like, essentially you become a projectile, which gives you that extra little height. I can only jump about maybe almost 4 feet up, but probably even less than that. But I could definitely jump high. And if I try,
Mm-hmm.
I reckon I might even be able to trade to get to like 7 foot plus. Just imagine trying to kick someone in the head at 7 foot tall. Yeah, you coming at me? Let's go. Come on, man. I'll step back. Come at me. Come on. Vertical kick. Bam. This looks like a comedy.
This is what my kung fu is like. You do not understand my kung fu. Oh, that was dope. Oh, this motherfucker got air combos.
Are you jealous?
A little bit, yeah, because I haven't figured out how to do that yet. Ah, come on. And now I'm gonna get my ass kicked because I can't see the screen. Called it. This motherfucker wound up. Who were you, Balrog? I think I might have figured out how to do air combos.
Good.
Oh my god, that was awesome. Arrgh! Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. I think I opened up another instance of this, and I did. Isn't that great? I may have to stop using this touchpad.
That's the problem with playing shell games.
Oh, damn! Caught me midair. Caught me midair. Caught me slipping. All right, big man.
For this party, I will see you.
All right, big man. You take care of yourself. You have yourself some fun, all right?
Aye, aye.
All right. See you later.
Gonna get nasty.
Yeesh. Oh no, I died. Ooh, took one to the dome. Let's go. I want to learn how to do that jump and spin aerial. All right, martial arts expert. Oh no, you just power drive me? God damn. All right, good. Wow, okay. All right, lady, I'm done with you. What's up, fam? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good day. How's your Saturday treating you? Corner fighting. On to the next one. This guy again. This guy right here. Ooh, lifted me off the ground right there. Yo! Yo! Ground, air, whatever. This dude is crushing my shit. What the hell happened there? My man's Jimmy coming in clutch. Ooh. Alright, clearly the agent here is the worst threat I need to watch out for. Usually it's the sword guy. Really need to start using my block button a lot more. Oof. This one guy is doing so much. This dude doing the most. Got that Fei Long fist. The Double Dragons of China. Okay, air counters. Love that. I'm all about these custom combos right here. Ah, you caught me. Let's get back up. Oh, put in that work. No, no. Wow, okay, okay. All right, I see you. I see you. In the middle of my super move. I'm gonna make you pay for that. Why are you turning around, Jimmy Lee? Get up. We're not done yet. I got arrogant. Oh my God, just hit him! Just hit him! I think we're done here. Had to lose a man to do it. What in the hell? Okay, boys. All right. Y'all supposed to be dead, but it's like, whoa. Like, that red one is taking a whole lot. What the fuck is that? Where the hell did that come from? What? What? Okay, I guess I'm gonna lose my half of my health bar right there. Got that donkey kick. What the? Yo, that's new. Oh my goodness. All right. We gonna jump off and get on the back of the truck? I guess not. Get out of there, man. Okay. Here we go. Yeah! It's my favorite level in the entire game. Hey, it's Marion! This Sensei D guy. Let's go! Please tell me you guys kept the music. I hope you guys kept the music. Boo! 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 That music sucks. I want to change the music. I'm gonna let it go now. I'm gonna let it go. Let's get back in there. Actually, I take that back. It kind of fits. It kind of feels like we're driving across the George Washington Bridge. I don't know why that music block is there, but okay. That would be kind of cool if they put like agents in here, just like the agents are getting on the sides, like they did in Double Dragon Advance. Oof, got juggled right there. Yo! That is lit. Got that donkey kick. Oof. It's okay, Billy Lee. It's okay, Billy Lee. Ow! Got that in the face. Woo! Okay, Linda. You and your little Chinese stars can go do something rude with yourselves. Get back up. We're not done yet. Culture, ho. Oh no, they got Marion. Oh, they brought in like a whole bunch of old Chinese martial arts movies. Yo, they throw some expletives in this bitch too. Damn. Oof. This guy right here. Listen here, clown car. Oh no, we died. I got 2 left. We are a long way from burn off. The pile drive. Shame. Wow. I want to learn how to do that. Oof. Ooh. That one hurt. It's always these guys, too. That's how you know you're doing too well when a Double Dragon clone shows up. Oh, they even use Hammer and Spike. Their nicknames. That's dope. Oh my god, they start beating the shit out of this guy. This is so fucking hilarious. Oh my god, this game is awesome. Chief Shiva knockoff? Yo! Yeah, there it is. Got that old school. Y'all don't know nothing about that. Get up, boys. Alright. Alright. Ba-bum-ba-da-ba-ba. Let's get these nunchucks, baby. Lady, you can come catch these hands. Alright, you next. You got to go. These are my nunchucks, and let me show you how to use them. You see, you messed up. You picked up my nunchucks again. Oh, hold on. Timeout. I can combo break too? Sweet. I got an extra man. Don't know how I did that, but I got an extra man. Let's go. Oh, you caught me. You caught me. All right. You caught me. All right, bro. All right, here we go. You. Okay, y'all can combo break too, I guess. All right, Bubba Hugger, you got to go. Let's go. Let's go. Of course. Let's go! They really need to fix the music, though. That weird repeat needs to be a seamless transition. We can't let that. We ain't going out like that. Oh, I think that was my last one. Oh, this is like an actual drug factory. Hold on. These in here, these motherfuckers in here making crank, smoking rock. Let's get it. Barely caught that one. Ugh. Damn. 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 Ooh. Ooh. All right. Damn. Caught them good hands right there. Am I supposed to go up or go down? I guess we're going down. Of course. Don't throw me off the stage. Ooh. All right, Blanca. Oh, damn. boys are brutal. Enter the leg of death. You know what? I'm about to call it right there. I'm gonna catch up with you kids later on. And see y'all in the next one. Alright, peace.